The wind whispers through the open fields, carrying a silence that feels heavier than words. For years, the Heartland Ranch has been filled with Jack Bartlett's voice, steady, guiding, and strong. But now, for the first time, we're left wondering, what happens when that voice begins to fade? What are the last words a man like Jack would leave behind, not just for his family, but for the land he spent his life protecting? Jack Bartlett isn't just another character in Heartland. He is the foundation, the roots of the ranch, the anchor that's held this family together through storms, heartbreaks, and victories. When people think of Heartland, they think of wide skies, running horses, and the steady figure of Jack sitting on his porch, hat pulled low, watching over it all. His presence is more than comfort. It is a reminder of the values the ranch was built on: hard work, loyalty, and love that never bends under pressure. Through the years, Jack has been more than a grandfather. He has been a mentor to Amy, guiding her as she discovered her gift with horses, teaching her that healing is not just about training, it's about trust, patience, and heart. To Lou, he has been a steady voice in the chaos of leadership, reminding her that the ranch is not about profit or appearances, but about family and legacy. Even Tim, stubborn and restless, has leaned on Jack's wisdom in ways he might never admit out loud, but Jack's role has always gone beyond words. It's in the way he fixes a fence at sunrise, the way he places a hand on a horse's neck, calming it without a single sound. It's in the quiet evenings, when his stories of the past carry lessons for the future. He has always been the silent shield, the man who holds everyone together even when they feel like falling apart. And yet, as Heartland reaches its 19th season, there is a shift we can't ignore. Jack is no longer just a strong figure in the background, he is facing his own truth. Time does not stop for anyone, not even for the man who seems unshakable. The land he has spent his life protecting, the family he has poured his soul into, all of it stands at a turning point. What happens when the man who has always carried everyone else begins to prepare for the day when he can no longer carry himself? This is where Jack's story deepens. His presence is not fading into silence, it is turning into something more powerful. A legacy. The words he leaves behind will not be simple farewells, but the very heartbeat of the ranch. His message will echo across the fields, not as a goodbye, but as a reminder that Heartland is more than one man's life. It's the bond of every soul who has loved, lost, and kept moving forward. The family may not see it yet, but Jack's quiet reflections are building towards something unforgettable. His voice, his wisdom, his last words, these will become the thread that ties the past to the future. And as he looks out over the land, watching the sun dip behind the hills, he knows that the time is coming to speak the truth he has carried for a lifetime. Because for Jack Bartlett, the ranch has never just been about him. It has always been about what he will leave behind. There comes a time in every life when the weight of years can no longer be ignored. For Jack Bartlett, that time has quietly arrived. His body moves slower than it once did. The mornings are colder on his bones, and the long rides across the ranch take more out of him than he would ever admit. But what hurts him most is not the stiffness in his back or the ache in his knees, it's the question that keeps circling in his heart. What happens to Heartland when I'm gone? This question isn't born out of fear for himself, but out of love for everything he's built. Jack has watched generations grow under his roof. He has seen Amy transform from a girl grieving her mother into a woman with strength and grace, carrying the Bartlett legacy forward in her own way. He has seen Lou stumble, fight, and rise, proving herself as a leader when the odds were stacked against her. He has even seen Tim restless Tim try to change, try to be better, even if it doesn't always last. But Jack knows life doesn't always give you the endings you want. The ranch has survived loss before Marianne, Ty, and countless others whose absence left holes too deep to fill. And yet, somehow, the land kept breathing. The family kept standing. Jack understands now that it will be no different with him. His life at Heartland is not about keeping it in his hands forever, it's about letting go when the time is right. This is the turning point. For the first time, Jack begins to imagine the ranch without him in it. He looks at the barns he repaired with his own hands, the pastures he seeded, the trails he's ridden since he was a boy. Every piece of land holds a memory, and every memory feels like a goodbye waiting to be said. But instead of breaking him, this realization makes him stronger. It pushes him to think not about what he'll lose, but about what he will leave behind. Jack's thoughts turn to legacy, not survival. He starts writing notes in the quiet of the evening, messages that aren't meant to be read now, but later when the family needs his voice the most. Words of encouragement for Amy, reminders for Lou, wisdom for Tim, and even gentle advice for the younger generation. These aren't just words on paper. They are pieces of his soul, carefully placed where they will live on long after his boots no longer walk the ranch. The shift is subtle, but powerful. Jack is no longer only the protector of Heartland, he is becoming its storyteller, its guardian spirit. Every look he gives across the fields carries a silent promise. This place will outlive me, but my love for it never will. And so, the turning point isn't marked by a single event, but by a quiet acceptance. Jack understands that his final chapter isn't about holding tighter, it's about letting go with grace. His heart begins to prepare not for an end, but for a handover. To him, the real strength of Heartland isn't in the fences or the barns. It's in the people, the family who will carry it forward. This is Jack's awakening. He realizes that the ranch is ready to stand without him, because his voice, his lessons, and his spirit have already been planted like roots deep in the soil. The man who has always been the backbone of Heartland begins to see himself not as the final piece, but as the foundation strong enough to hold up the future. Even after he is gone, there are moments in life when silence speaks louder than sound. For Jack Bartlett, the silence of the ranch at night becomes his confessional. Under the glow of the moon, with the horses resting in the pastures and the wind moving softly through the trees, Jack begins to shape the words he knows he must leave behind. Not words of sorrow, not words of regret, but words that carry the weight of his entire life. His first thought is of the land itself. He has always believed the soil is alive, holding memories as surely as it holds roots. If he could speak to the ranch, he would say, "This ground is sacred." Every hoof that thundered across it, every drop of sweat and tear that fell into it, this is what makes it more than just land. This is our history. Guard it, respect it, love it as I have, and it will never fail you. Jack knows that these words aren't just about the earth beneath their feet, they are about protecting a way of life. The bond between family, horse, and land that makes Heartland unlike any other place. Then his mind turns to his family. He sees Amy first, with her gift that has always felt like a blessing and a burden. For her, his words would be gentle but firm. "Amy, never doubt the light inside you. The horses trust you because you trust yourself, even when you don't realize it. Don't let the world harden you. Keep your heart open, because that is where your true strength lies." He knows Amy will face more storms in her life, but he wants her to remember that her spirit is unbreakable. For Lou, his eldest granddaughter, his words carry the weight of leadership. "Lou, you've spent your life trying to balance everything, being a mother, a leader, a protector. Don't forget that strength doesn't mean carrying it all alone. Lean on others when the weight grows too heavy. And remember, the ranch isn't just about keeping it running, it's about keeping it filled with love." Jack has watched Lou push herself beyond her limits, often forgetting that she doesn't need to prove herself. His words are meant to remind her that her worth is not in her success, but in her heart. For Tim, the man who has tested his patience more than anyone else, Jack's words are both sharp and forgiving. "Tim, you've stumbled more times than I can count, but you've never stayed down. That's what matters. Don't let pride keep you from the people who love you. Family isn't perfect, it's stubborn, messy, and loud, but it's worth fighting for. And when you think you've run out of chances, remember that you can always start again." Finally, Jack's thoughts drift to the younger generation, the children who will grow up never knowing him the way Amy and Lou did. For them, his message is simple. This ranch is not mine, and it's not yours. It belongs to every dream that's been built here, every hand that worked the land before us. Treat it well, and it will always give back to you. And when you look out over these fields, remember me not as the man who left, but as the man who believed in what comes next. These imagined words, though unspoken in the moment, are carved deep in Jack's heart. They are not just advice, they are pieces of his soul, gifts meant to guide the family long after his chair on the porch sits empty. Jack's last words are not about endings. They are about beginnings. They are a passing of the torch, a reminder that Heartland was never his to keep forever, it was his to protect until the next generation was ready. When a man like Jack Bartlett speaks his last words, they don't just fade into the air, they take root. They become part of the people who heard them, part of the land that carried his voice, part of the legacy that can be erased. And for the Bartlett and Fleming family, Jack's words are not a farewell. They are a compass. For Amy, those words become her anchor. She has always carried a quiet strength, but Jack's reminder to keep her heart open changes the way she looks at the world. There will be days when she doubts herself, when the weight of responsibility feels too heavy, when the silence of those she has lost presses down on her. But in those moments, she remembers her grandfather's voice. She remembers that trust is her gift, that love is not weakness, and that every horse she heals is also healing her. His words follow her into the barn, out into the fields, and onto the trails. And in her heart, she knows she isn't walking alone. Jack is with her. Every step. For Lou, Jack's wisdom cuts through the noise of her busy life. She has always tried to hold everything together, the ranch, her family, her duties as a leader. But Jack's words remind her of something she often forgets. She doesn't need to do it all alone. The next time she feels the pressure building, the next time the weight of leadership feels unbearable, Lou will hear Jack telling her that strength is not about carrying every burden, it's about knowing when to share it. His voice gives her permission to breathe, to rest, to trust. And that small reminder keeps her from breaking. For Tim, Jack's words land differently. Their relationship has always been complicated, built on old wounds, stubborn pride, and battles that stretched across decades. But when Tim hears Jack's message, something inside him shifts. You can always start again. Those words cut deeper than anger, deeper than regret. They plant a seed of forgiveness both for himself and for the family he has hurt. Tim may stumble again, as he always does, but now he carries Jack's reminder that falling is not the same as failing. That seed of wisdom begins to grow into something stronger than pride, the courage to change. And then there are the children, the next generation, who may only know Jack through stories, photos, and the echoes of his voice. For them, his last words become a story told around dinner tables, whispered while saddling up horses, remembered during the hard days of growing up. Jack's message about the ranch belonging to every dream built there will shape how they see Heartland, not as a piece of land, but as a living legacy. They will ride the same trails, walk the same barns. And though they may not remember Jack's face clearly, they will feel his spirit in every corner of the ranch. The true power of Jack's last words is not in how they comfort, it's in how they inspire. They do not tie the family to the past. They push them forward. Each person who hears his voice finds the strength to step into a future without him, while still carrying him inside them. And so, Heartland itself changes. The ranch is no longer only Jack's responsibility, it belongs to all of them now. Every decision Amy makes with her horses, every choice Lou makes for the ranch, every step Tim takes toward redemption, every dream the children chase, all of it carries Jack's influence. His words become the invisible hands guiding the ranch forward, ensuring that the spirit of Heartland does not fade but grows stronger with each generation. In the end, Jack's legacy is not written in stone or carved into wood. It is written in the lives he touched. His words live on in the choices they make, the love they share, the courage they carry. Jack Bartlett may not stand on the porch anymore, but his voice lingers in the wind, his wisdom glows in the family's eyes, and his love runs as deep as the roots of the land itself. And that is the final truth of Jack's last words. They do not end with him. They begin with everyone he left behind. The ranch is quiet now. The kind of quiet that feels alive, as though the land itself is listening. Jack Bartlett's chair on the porch may sit empty, but his presence lingers in every corner of Heartland. The fences he mended, the barns he built, the horses he raised, they all whisper his story. But it is not a story of endings. It is a story of beginnings. Jack's last words do not rest in sorrow. They rise in strength. They remind us that legacy is not about holding on, it is about letting go at the right moment. trusting that the love you've poured into others will carry forward. His voice is no longer just his own. It belongs to Amy, guiding her as she heals horses and hearts alike. It belongs to Lou, reminding her that leadership is not measured by weight carried alone, but by love shared freely. It belongs to Tim, urging him to never give up on redemption, no matter how many times he falls. And it belongs to the next generation, children who will grow with his spirit at their backs, even if they never knew him in the flesh. The power of Jack's message lies in its simplicity. Life is fleeting, but love is eternal. Family will stumble, argue, and fall apart, but it will also heal, forgive, and come back stronger. The land will change, seasons will pass, but the soil holds every memory, every sacrifice, every victory. And as long as the family remembers these truths, Heartland will never be lost. For those who watch from beyond the ranch, every viewer who has followed Jack's journey since the beginning, his words reach further still. They remind us of something deeply human. We all leave behind echoes. The way we love, the lessons we teach, the kindness we share, these things outlive us. Jack Bartlett is more than a character. He is a mirror of the lives we wish to live, the legacies we hope to leave, and the families we strive to hold together no matter the storms. And so, as Heartland steps into its 19th season, Jack's last words become a torch passed forward. They light the path ahead, not just for the Bartletts, but for anyone who believes in resilience, forgiveness, and love that endures. The ranch stands tall against the horizon, its fences strong, its fields endless. And in that wide, unbroken sky, you can almost hear his voice carried by the wind. This ranch isn't mine alone. It belongs to every dream, every hand, every heart that keeps it alive. Take care of it, and it will take care of you. The silence that follows is not heavy, it is hopeful. Because Heartland is not about one man, one story, or one ending. It is about family, about roots that dig deep, about branches that stretch toward the future. Jack's words remind us that while people may leave, love never does, and so the story continues. The porch light still glows. The horses still run free. The family still gathers at the table. Jack Bartlett's voice may no longer be heard in the same way, but his presence is stitched into the very soul of Heartland. His last words are not a goodbye. They are a beginning. The horizon burns with the soft gold of dawn, casting long shadows across the fields of Heartland. The ranch is alive, the horses stir, the barn doors creak, the wind carries the faint scent of hay and earth. Yet something feels different. For the first time in decades, Jack Bartlett is not there to greet the morning. His chair on the porch stands still, the old coffee cup resting on the table beside it, untouched. It is a picture of absence but not of emptiness. His spirit remains, woven into every breath of this land. And yet, the question hangs heavier than the sky itself. Who will carry the torch now? Amy steps out of the barn, her boots crunching on the gravel, her face lifted toward the sunrise. She feels her grandfather's presence in the morning light, in the gentle nudge of a horse's muzzle, in the rhythm of hooves across the pasture. But is she ready to take on the role Jack left behind? Can she be the anchor when storms threaten to tear the family apart? Lou watches the ranch from the big house, papers spread across her desk. Her heart pulls her in two directions: family and responsibility. Jack's words still echo. You don't have to carry it all alone. But what if she fails? What if the legacy Jack protected with every ounce of strength slips through her hands? Tim lingers near the stables, his shadow long against the ground. For years, he fought with Jack, clashed with him, misunderstood him. And yet, he feels the sharp sting of loss more than he can say. Jack's last words to him, "You can always start again," play over in his mind. But can Tim finally step up, not as the reckless man he once was, but as someone worthy of Jack's trust? And then there are the children, the new generation, running through the fields, their laughter ringing in the air. They don't yet understand the weight of legacy, but one day, they will. Jack's torch doesn't belong to one person alone. It belongs to all of them, together. Just as the ranch itself does, the camera of imagination pulls back past the house, past the fields, past the river glinting under the light of dawn. Heartland stretches wide, endless, eternal. The ranch is not waiting for one savior, it is waiting for a family strong enough to rise together. But in that vast silence, the cliffhanger lingers like a heartbeat. Who will lead them when the storm comes? Season 19 does not promise easy answers. It promises trials that will test every bond, every dream, every choice. It promises heartbreak and healing, loss and renewal. And at the center of it all lies Jack's final gift, his words, his wisdom, his love guiding them forward. The wind shifts, carrying a whisper across the land. If you listen closely, you can almost hear him. This wrench is in your hands now. Don't let it go. The screen fades to black. The story of Heartland continues.